Welcome back to another episode of Graps and Yaps. This is your go-to podcast for everything pro wrestling, where we are going to recap what's happened inside and, of course, outside of the ring from the last week. And whether you're a lifelong fan like us, or you might just be a victim of the wrestling algorithm, we thank you for being here, and we hope that you enjoy. I'm Phil Fresh, one half of the show, back at it again. Joining us as well, as always, matter of fact, TF Tony Free. Tony, how are you, mate?
Oh, I'm great. I was just watching a reel this morning that pretty much compared August to being like the Wednesday of the week. So for those of you who like to knock off on a Friday, we're almost up to that time of year where we're going to be knocking off, around Christmas time. So August, great comparison. The I guess the hump day of the year.
Wow, I've never made that
I thought it was great.
That I hear it.
Awesome, loved it.
Yeah, that makes sense. What would be the Monday then? I'm guessing it would be like February. Is that crazy to say?
Yeah, I'd say February, March, like we just get out of the silly season, everything's kind of back to normal. People are back to work, kids are back at school. Actually, I might maybe April I'll go with. Like when things start to get a little bit cooler.
Monday?
Yeah, when things get a little bit cooler, daylight savings is finished. Maybe April.
And are we in agreement that like the Friday and Saturday would be like December, January?
Yeah, summertime, 100%.
Yeah. Okay. So then I guess that would make February or March something like the Sunday.
I guess so, yeah. Yeah.
I guess if we're going in order, right?
Yeah, 100%. So yeah,
okay.
We're at the hump day of the year, so we're almost there, guys. So just hang tight.
I love it.
I mean, because I think next month is spring, so yeah, I'm hanging out for that.
No, I love it.
Mate, I noticed yesterday. I was out yesterday, like last night, yesterday evening, and just walked outside at like 5:35, and I could still see sunlight. I'm like, all right, we're well and truly, almost at the end of hump day right now.
We are getting right into the thick of it. That's really good. I agree with it. And what a way to start off the show. What a way to start off the Graphs and Yaps podcast for this week. We obviously had a lot of fun last week with our boy Dave Hoey. Do you know what I didn't realize until the end? That was a big yap. That went for like an hour 40.
Hey, I realized at the time. I realized at the time. I was looking at the clock going, we got to get out of here, man. Come on.
Dude, I know. I was like, oh man, it was a big show, but shout out
boys were
Dave Hoey. Yeah, no, unfortunately that's exactly what happened. But we are back at it again, just us two. It's just us, Oos, and we are obviously going to be getting into the recap of the week, bit of news outside of the ring as well. Some exciting bit of news too that we'll get to later on. But we are going to start off the episode this week like this. Speaking of last week's episode, some kicked off, all right? Basically, it went like this. Brock Lesnar retired. I said he is easily a top 10 wrestler of all time. Tony Free, bit hesitant towards that. I go, okay, well, if he's not top 10, then maybe he's 15, maybe he's 20. Tony says he's top 25, maybe. Not even a certain 25, but maybe 25. We then asked the people on @Graphs and Yaps on Instagram. I say, guys, what is it? What number is he? And there were a lot of differing opinions, but there were a couple ones that were supporting your thought. I seen 26 thrown into the equation. I saw 1 million thrown into the equation. I also saw 15. So I had to ask you, and you have come correct. Tony Free has entered this week with his top 25 wrestlers of all time, which I'm super excited to get to. Can I just ask, like, was it an easy 25 to get to, or was there a lot of thinking time with this one?
I'll say this, the top 10 picked itself for me. It was pretty easy. Okay. But then when you're getting into that 11 to 25, it's very challenging. You have to really dig deep into the catalog. Okay. Because it is, it's just 1%ers that separate people when you're getting into those areas.
That's right. That's fair enough. The top 10, I think universally people can easily get their top 10, but yeah, once you get later on and further down the list, then it becomes a little bit more, I guess, exact, right? You got to be real detailed and specific with it. So we've got your 25, Tony Free. Now, are these ranked? Like, are these already ranked, or have you just got 25 wrestlers that are in that realm?
As I said, top 10 was easy to pick, so it definitely ranked. And then
Yeah.
I came correct and made sure that I ranked 11 to 25. So this whole top 25 is Tony Free's personal top 25. I don't care about, I'm not worrying too much about metrics. This is a lot of, like, I guess, sentimental value that I hold for a lot of these superstars. So, yeah,
Wow.
that takes like a majority of the judging criteria there.
So would you say that this is mostly subjective? This is just, yeah, like you said, you've got your name on it. This is your top 25.
Yeah, this is mine because I know everybody's like when we talk
Okay.
about Mount Rushmores, everybody seems to have a different Mount Rushmore, and I think even my top four might surprise a few people in terms of who may have been left out. So yeah, I'm keen to unveil all of that today.
All right. So I've actually even got a pen and paper here because I'm going to write it down and follow along. If you're listening, if you got the time to do it, you should join in as well. Um, Very excited to hear what this is. So, Tony Free, please. Are we going to go from 25 to 1?
Yeah, we're going to start number 25, and
Let's go.
like I don't know if it's, I guess if some of the next few might shock a few people that they've landed in the top 25. But as I said, some sentimental value here, and number 25 kicking the list off is Mr. Monday Night Rob Van Dam, probably one of the greatest intercontinental
Wow, we got
champions of all
RVD
time.
at 25. I
The
don't
impact
hate
that
it. That's a good start to the 25,
the
I think.
the impact that he made was incredible. Like even in today's like modern wrestling, RVD, pioneer. I guess even like you could almost say pop culture. He was kind of like an icon as well. So it's just in that time. Yeah, he had to find his way into the 25. So there he is.
I think in terms of like the wrestling influence, absolutely. You see it in today's game where, a lot of high flying. I think he has, this might be crazy to say, I don't know, but I think he has the best frog splash of
100%.
all the wrestlers. Also, like best gear, I really enjoyed his gear, like the little airbrush
Yeah,
tights, whatever, I don't know what you call it, or and then also just the taunt, just the thumbs to
so
the
good.
to himself.
I think
Yeah, look, I'm happy with that at 25.
I think like in all the video games, like growing up, when you create a wrestler, create a
Yeah.
superstar, a lot of my moveset was Rob Van Dam and the taunts as well. He was just the guy, and you can't forget when he won the WWE Championship at ECW One Night Stand against John Cena. Iconic.
I like that. Strong start, 23. What do you got at number
So
24?
number 24, we've got the man Becky Lynch. I will admit this is going to be a very
Hey.
male superstar heavy list, but Becky Lynch does make her way into my 25. She's headlined WrestleMania, pretty much done everything you can think of. So yeah, Becky Lynch, number 24. Number
Okay.
23, the Nature Boy, 16-time world champion, Ric Flair, coming in at number
Ain't
23.
no way. Ain't no way. 23?
23. So like,
You're
a-
mad.
as I said, this is my personal 23 here. And like, I guess when I was watching Ric Flair, this is the back end of his career, even though he's tried to, extend that for, I guess, up until recently. But like when I'm looking at up until when he retired at WrestleMania against Shawn Michaels, that little probably 5, 6 year window of Ric Flair, it lands at number 23 for me.
Oh my. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna say my feedback till the end, but I did not expect to see that name down there.
And number 22, I'm sure popular choice. And oh yeah, Booker T.
You got to work on that. I'm not gonna lie. You might have
Bro,
to work on your Booker
bro,
T impression.
Booker T, when he came across to the WWF in early 2000s, this guy, I was spamming the 5 time, 5 time, 5 time. Me in the playground in primary school, like, love that shit. So Booker T,
I think
the man, spinneroonies everywhere.
Yeah, I actually think, and maybe a lot of wrestling fans, kids who grew up watching wrestling, would relate that the spinneroonie might have been the first dance move that you ever learned,
First
and it's
breakdance
because of
move,
that man
100%.
there.
100%.
Exactly. I think I was hitting that. Actually, I haven't. I have
Gear
a
Six
memory of
Disco.
doing this at a school disco, but hitting it and kicking some girl. And her mum was there and was like, "Don't do that." And I was like, "Okay." So
There's
thank you, Booker
th-
T, for that one.
there's nothing better than getting down on one knee, hitting the and then throwing the arms up and then hitting that shit.
And of
So yeah,
course, we can't look past the accents that he hit as well as King Booker. Even his like African accent in when he was in the main event Mafia, which I spoke about as well. Shout
he
out
was
Booker
so
T.
entertaining.
I'm happy with him. I'm happy that
So,
he's in the 25.
so entertaining, and even still now.
Yeah.
But moving on, number 21, and I still remember the day I watched this guy debut in WWE, not really knowing much about him at all or his history. And it's when he scaled a cage on SmackDown back in the day, and it was Rey Mysterio. Mate, iconic. I
Okay.
thought maybe stiff to just not land inside the top 20, but he did fall at number 21 for me.
When I kind of had my mind had like a top 10, and Ray was one of the guys that I was like, it could go either way. Like he could be in the 10. There's like an argument for him to be in the 10, but he could be short of the 10. You're talking about him being short of the 20. Honestly, I think that's harsh.
It is harsh, but number 20 holds a little bit more sentimental value here and maybe some
Okay.
recency bias, and that is Rhea Ripley.
Oh,
So yeah, you
all
can see there
right.
I've ranked her above Becky Lynch, and she cracks into my top 20, Rhea Ripley. So
Okay.
yeah, maybe some Australia bias there as well.
And this will like she's obviously still active. I mean, Becky Lynch is still active too, but like there is a chance that they could go further
They can
up.
push higher. They can push
Yeah,
higher,
exactly.
100%. 100%.
Or go lower, depending on how they go. But yeah, look, I like it so far, 23. We've gone through the first five.
And so two female superstars have landed in the top 25. But moving on to number 19, and that is the phenomenal AJ Styles, which I know might be controversial putting him in at number 19, but that's where he fell for me. I guess I was a little bit. I guess my peak years of when I first got into wrestling, AJ Styles wasn't really on my radar. I saw a little bit of TNA, but he wasn't like one of those top guys yet when I started watching that. And then yeah, I guess in his twilight years when he came across the WWE for the last 10 years, yeah, it put him into my top 25 at least.
Do you think that if he was just like a full like WWE guy from the jump, that he would be like higher, or do you think it's like the TNA and like the New Japan of it all like kind of lessens his value and puts him at 19?
I think so. Like he kind of maybe lacks like a bit of the star value that some of the others may have. Even over the last few years, like he wasn't in the main event picture in the WWE. So I guess those few things take some rub away from AJ Styles for me. But yeah, he's one of the all time greats. Don't get me
I,
wrong.
I'm
But
I'm happy with top
for
20.
me, yeah, top
Yeah,
20 for sure.
yeah, agreed. Moving
And
on.
number 18, Seth freaking Rollins. I actually tried to get this guy a little bit higher, but he fell at number 18 to me. He's just, so versatile, so reliable.
Okay.
And,
Seth
I
Rollins
think,
higher than Ric Flair and Rey Mysterio, by the way. Just wanted to point that out.
yeah, I hold Seth Rollins in very high regard. And, yeah, as I said, try to get him higher, but, there's a few names from what 1 to 17, which probably deserve to be there. And the next one is the main talking point, and number 17 is Brock Lesnar.
17 Brock. Okay. Interesting. He's a top 17 wrestler.
He is. So I think I juggled him in between probably spots 14 to 19, and that's where he's landed. So for all the reasons I gave last week, as I said, like peak Brock Lesnar in 2002 to 4, whenever his first little stint was.
You don't
Incredible.
believe that that's the peak. You don't believe that
I
that
do.
is peak Brock
I,
Lesnar.
I
You
think
don't.
I'm still soured by the fact of the end of the streak at Mania. Um, I still believe he shouldn't have, and it wasn't needed. And I think at that stage in his career, it just wasn't the right thing to do. And as I said, I think he's a little bit one dimensional. It's same 4 moves, no promo work. albeit a lot of big matches. But
Mm.
yeah, I guess some of those things, keep him from being in that, top 15, 16 for me.
Okay, so we have gotten through 8 of your 25. You've just said Brock Lesnar lands at number 17. So realistically, the list has just begun now. So I'm very
100%.
very interested to see who you have above Brock Lesnar. Let's get to number 16.
The spot above, and I know, like, if you told him this, he would absolutely love this. And number 16, the Enigma, Jeff Hardy. This is another guy who I was like, this guy could be a bit higher. Maybe not top 10, but, you can make a case for him being, definitely top 15. But 16 for me, Jeff Hardy.
Okay. Okay, yeah, right. 16 Jeff Hardy. I'm putting that down. One above Brock Lesnar.
Well, like, this is the thing. So Jeff Hardy, he's not a guy who's, main event at WrestleMania or anything. He hasn't had, like, multiple world championships.
Yeah.
Has he had one or maybe like two at max? But, a guy who started out in the tag team division with his brother and was just like a highlight reel in that, and then organically got himself over as a singles competitor. The thing that sticks out for me is that match that he had against The Undertaker on Raw. I think it may have been a ladder match. It was kind of like his moment where, like, this is the coming of Jeff Hardy. And man, when I was a kid, summertime, hitting that swanton bomb into a pool, bro, I cannot tell you how many times I hit that. Off top of cupboards onto beds. I wish I was Jeff Hardy. Even just, even now, I'll still hit that entrance move.
Yeah,
love that shit.
still goated. You know what I mean? I will say, if I could, my mind just went to promos. I don't know if he's got the promo skills over Brock. He might, but Jeff's promos, I don't think, they're nothing to write home about.
They're not, but like the in-ring ability, I prefer a Jeff Hardy's in-ring ability to that of a Brock Lesnar.
Okay.
For me personally.
All right. But, it's your list, Tony. So you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't want to step on anyone's toes here.
This dude, like, he is the epitome of putting your body on the line. Like, the shit that he did was just insane. Like, the heights that he'd fall from were just, yeah, this guy has to be rewarded for those efforts alone. But moving on, number 15, another one which may be controversial coming in at this number, and that is the OTC Roman Reigns. Number 15,
Tony Free.
Number 15.
That is interesting.
He was another one where I was like, oh, does he fall into the top 10? But I think he's just a victim of who I've placed above him. Nothing to take away from Roman Reigns. It's just I hold the next 14 superstars in such high regard.
I'm not going to lie. All right. Obviously, the focus here was where does Brock Lesnar land and who's above Brock Lesnar. But you have now entered into who the hell is above Roman Reigns territory as well.
Well, I also hated pre-2020 Roman Reigns. So, if Roman Reigns had a better 5-year run pre-COVID, maybe he'd be a bit higher than what he is right now. So,
all right, we're in the top 15 now.
Number 14. This might be controversial for some because I've placed him above the likes of Ric Flair, above Brock Lesnar, above Roman Reigns, and it's Sting. I know his WWE run, not much to be desired, but this guy from WCW, he had a run in TNA as well, awesome run in TNA. That brief stint in WWE. When he first popped up in WWE, it was what a moment that was, and I think we're all praying for like an Undertaker versus Sting match. Didn't get it in the end, and probably, it was a result of I guess like the Vince McMahon part of WWE at the time, and even the way they booked that WrestleMania match between Triple H and Sting pretty much told you all you need to know about how they dropped the ball with him. But for him to continue his career in AEW and go out the way he did. Sting, one of the all-time greats.
I also think that, given the time, when he was, peak WCW, and even just before that, NWA, the way he was wrestling was like, I don't know, no, there was not really anyone else that was moving like that. So I think he was kind of a trailblazer in that way. And then obviously he gets the whole like, crow gimmick with the baseball bat and everything, the NWO and all that stuff, and that just takes it to a whole nother level. I'm not mad at Sting over there. I'm
And
okay with that for now.
and massive in pop culture, like especially through the 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sting was a staple. So yeah, number
Okay.
14 Sting, but
All right.
number 13 is Bret Hart for me.
13 Bret Hart.
Yeah, I feel like if Bret Hart was more of a 2000s wrestler, he'd be higher. Just based on the time that, I came into watching wrestling and things like that. Bret Hart was kind of a little bit before that, but you can't argue with his catalog and his abilities as an in-ring wrestler. So yeah, Bret Hart,
Okay.
number 13 for me.
I Let me just recap the list of what we've got so far. So we've got 25 RVD, 24 Becky Lynch, 23 Ric Flair, 22 Booker T, 21 Rey Mysterio, 20 Rhea Ripley, 19 AJ Styles, 18 Seth Rollins, 17 Brock Lesnar, 16 Jeff Hardy, 15 Roman Reigns, 14 Sting, and 13 Bret Hart. Who do you have at 12?
Number 12 is Bryan Danielson, aka Daniel Bryan. One of the
That's
best,
interesting.
one of the purest wrestlers of all time. Organically got himself over in WWE. Has translated that now into AEW. Had an iconic run in ROH. Just one of the best that you will ever find in the world.
Okay. All right. No, it's your list, Tony Free. I was going to say something, but it's your list. I don't know about that.
Well, like, you got to look at it. Even if you look at his impact now, you still have fans doing the yes chant. Like even like it's been what, like 4 or 5 years since this guy left WWE. His impact, I think, was a lot bigger than people probably realize, especially back then at the time. So yeah, Daniel Bryan, one of the best. And man, like for such a tricky period of WWE when it wasn't that great, I think he was one of the shining lights of that period. And then when he came back as well, obviously has one of the best, I guess, shoot promos with the Miz on Talking Smack. That stuff kind of lives forever as well. And the way he came in through NXT, being like, I guess, like the prototype indie wrestler, and still being able to get himself over, despite the system, I guess, working against him, just shows you how good this guy is. If he had the push that some of the others on this list had from the get go, like you might argue that he could be a top 5 wrestler.
I think that now that I'm thinking about it, I do feel like obviously he was unlucky to get, hit with those injuries, especially after he won the World Championship. I feel like if he wasn't injured, if he didn't get hurt back then and he wasn't out for extended periods of time, I think I would be a bit more like, yeah, okay, that's fine by me. But I do think that maybe that affects his spot in this ranking. So I mean, I don't know. I could argue the number 12.
I think what solidified it for me was when he moved across to AEW, he was just putting that was the best thing for him, just to go there and put on those styles of matches. It just goes to show you, like, despite having those injuries and what he came back from, he is one of the best technical wrestlers that you will ever find.
All right, hit me with 11.
Number 11 is the COO himself, Paul Levesque. Triple H comes in at number 11. He was, maybe a bit stiff to miss the top 10, but you can't deny, the impact of Triple H. It kind of just goes for itself without needing to say too much.
In my opinion, Triple H does, like, he is on that line of like top 10, top 15. Like, yeah, he like, I think 11, I'm not, to me, that's like, yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, Triple H is definitely that, like, in between. Like, he could go either way. It's almost like a coin toss, really. But I'm okay with Triple H at 11. I think that makes sense.
Awesome. And
Now we're getting into the sweet stuff.
The business
Here we
end.
go. Tony's
said,
top 10.
The top 10 picked itself, and there was a little bit of jostling between the positions. But I think for me, this is a standout top 10, regardless of where they fall in the order. So number 10 is probably one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. It does come in number 10 because he did have something like a 10-year absence from wrestling, and that's CM Punk.
Okay. Number 10, CM Punk. Even despite the absence, he's still
Despite the
top 10?
absence, I think that's what kind of solidifies it for me is he came back from a 10-year absence and he's on top of the industry again. Like you almost forget that he left for that amount of time. The way that he's just, been able to go back to the top of the mountain so seamlessly, despite the fact that, yeah, there were a few little altercations in real life in AEW. I think that just, I guess, adds to the lore of CM Punk, especially if you now that we're bringing up some of the stories that came up between him and Kevin Owens 2005. I think it just all adds to the mystique and the story of CM Punk. So yeah, easy top 10 for me.
I think this current run that he's on in WWE is like definitely helping the case that he is a top 10 wrestler. So although it is weird to see like his name in a top 10 wrestlers of all time, it's not like incorrect. You know what I mean? It's just something that you're like, oh yeah, like yeah, I guess he is. Like I guess I've just never thought about that. But all right, starting off the 10, CM Punk. Who do you have at number 9?
Number 9, another active wrestler. Well, he's had a bit of time off here and there, and he's back again, and it's the legend killer, Randy Orton, number 9.
Randy
I think
Orton, a top 10 wrestler.
you can't dispute that legend killer run that he had. He was the ultimate heel throughout the 2010s. Yeah, what he's and longevity that he's had as well. Randy Orton, he was just like, I remember when he first popped up on TV, I was like, this is literally like the perfect, looking wrestler you could have. He was just like, super like handsome guy, muscles, chiseled, probably
He's a unit.
Probably hit some needles for a little while there and got a bit too jacked.
Hey.
But then like leaned himself out and was just like this like just cold killer, man. It was just like one of the best heels you will ever find in any story, like wrestling. No matter what kind of entertainment you're looking at, he was the best bad guy you'll ever find.
He is one of the best examples of like he was born into it. You know what I mean? Like obviously his father and his grandfather both in the company, third generation superstar Randy Orton. But like it's yeah, like you said, physically he is obviously built for this. But it's just like I've said this before. He's a details wrestler. It's the little things that he does in between the matches, like a little, when he hits that slither or a turn. Even just when he came back at SummerSlam, him like hitting the RKO, looking to the camera and just hitting that little wink. All right, that's he like I don't know. It's just something that like you don't really see other wrestlers do that, but like Randy Orton is the guy that can do that stuff.
He has it.
Exactly.
Whatever you define it has, no matter what it is,
he
like,
has it.
And people like a lot of people will have different definitions of it, but he has it in every way.
100% agree. So we've got Randy Orton at number 9.
Yeah, number 8. It's a posthumous pick, and when I was doing this, I was like, is he this high because he has passed away? But then, when I go back, putting my mind back to when I was a kid, watching this guy, how much I was entertained by this man, no debate whatsoever. Number 8 is the late Eddie Guerrero.
Eddie Guerrero in the 10. We were just talking about guys that
so
get it. Like
charismatic.
Eddie Guerrero is one of those guys that can get it.
Yeah, ultimate showman. He just, he had the charisma. He had the in-ring ability. He was a freak, like the stuff that he'd do, and just, the way he would just entertain, like the lying, the cheating, and stealing. It was amazing. So yeah, Eddie Guerrero, number 8, R.I.P.
I love that, man. And you can see the influence as well, the legacy that he's upheld. I mean, you see it with people like Dom Mysterio, who've, just taken a page out of that Latino Heat playbook. So, number 8. All right. So, CM Punk, Randy Orton, and right now, number 8, Eddie Guerrero. Who's at 7?
Number 7, this is a guy that we spoke about last week, and, we tossed up whether you'd have him above Brock Lesnar. And when I really thought about it, he is head and shoulders above Brock Lesnar. Number 7 is Chris Jericho. He's had so many versions of himself. He's been able to reinvent himself every couple of years. He's just been able to get everything over. Everything he does turns to gold. You cannot deny the impact this guy's had. The longevity speaks for itself. He's done everything. He's the first ever undisputed champion in WWE history. Oh, man, like the list of Jericho, the learning tree, if you're watching AEW, like it's just been everything he's done You can't deny he's dead set one of the GOATs.
It's not that you think that he's better than Brock Lesnar. It's that you think that he is 10 spots better than Brock Lesnar.
Yeah,
Now that
the career speaks for itself. This guy has done this for 30 plus years at the top, at the very top.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I was rocking with you on the 10, but we have hit a stop. We have hit a road bump here with number 7, Chris Jericho. There's no way. I like Chris Jericho, but I think he's like, and I think he's like similar to Triple H, where he's like, he could be 10, he could be 15, hell, he could be 20. 7 is generous, I think.
I think I think people would agree with me if the era that, like, so when he was having that feud with Kevin Owens, when he probably should have main evented WrestleMania, if he was doing that in an era where Roman Reigns wasn't getting pushed to the top spot, Chris Jericho was the guy. If he wasn't in that era, I think a lot of people would be like, oh yeah, Jericho, if you put him in any other era, he's at the top. And every time, every rebirth of Chris Jericho has always been up there. People may like look at the time, be like, oh, this is stupid, like this is silly. But despite the fact he always got things over. And even when you look at, that time when it was the list of Jericho, he was probably 20 years into his career. And he was still like doing things in the ring that he probably did when he was, 20 years old. So the fact that he was doing it then and, 10 plus years later, he's still, I know like he's slowed down a lot and a little bit different in AEW, but like the fact that, we were all speculating him coming back to the WWE this year just goes to show you that Jericho is one of the top 10 wrestlers. And I know up for debate, but for me, you can't deny that.
Hey, now that we've gotten, we're slowly getting to the pointy end. I'm thinking of names that I haven't heard yet, and I'm going, there's no way that this person's better than that person. So let's get into number 6. Who do you have?
Number 6, and this is, I don't know if it'll shock people, but for me, number 6 is The Undertaker.
All right. Okay.
Would
number
you have had him
6.
higher? Because I don't know if he falls into people's Mount Rushmores. I don't think I hear a lot of Undertaker on Rushmore kind of thing, but you have to have him thereabouts. Like, as I said, I'm looking at like longevity, things
10.
like that. Like the streak itself, that speaks volumes. And then if you look at like, he was the locker room leader for a reason. And Undertaker has to be right up there.
I think one of the, I think when he first debuted as like the dead man, in that era of WWF when they were just like, there was a garbage man and there's a hockey player and there's a clown.
It's crazy.
Right?
In
an era like that. Exactly that. Like he made it work. He also evolved. He started speaking. He started riding a motorbike.
Oh, the badass Undertaker I love so much.
But I will say, okay, now I'm sure you would agree. His peak was like 2006 to 2012, maybe. Is that safe to say? Like he had his prime was that like SmackDown era, big gold belt against Batista, Edge, Randy Orton, Kurt Angle, the likes. Even hell, I'll even chuck the Great Khali, the Punjabi prison match in there too.
I don't know. I did really enjoy like a few years earlier than that as well. As I said, I liked the badass Undertaker with the motorbike. The feud that he had with Brock Lesnar, iconic as well. For that WWE Undisputed Championship in those days. I could argue that there's probably a 10-year stint there, which I would call prime for the Undertaker in different formats as well.
I also saw like there was a clip I saw recently of 2007 Royal Rumble, Rated RK, Edge, Randy, and Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, the final 4, and then obviously it becomes the final 2 with Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. 2 of the GOATs, man. 2 of the GOATs right there. Number 6, The Undertaker. Now we are getting into the top 5. Now, there are some names that I haven't heard yet that I'm expecting to hear in the 5, but there are also names that I haven't heard yet that I'm worried are going to make it into the 5. But Tony Free, hit us with your top 5 wrestlers of all time.
So as I said, everybody has their Rushmores, their top 4, and this might shock a lot of people that I won't have him in my top four, and that is, who they call the greatest of all time. But for me, he's the fifth greatest on my list, and that's John Cena.
Hey, I don't know about that one. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that one.
Hey,
Number five, he reckons.
I
Number
fucking
five,
hate.
he reckons.
I fucking hated John Cena for probably a good 6 year stint there, like especially from what 2012, maybe 2013 to 2016, 17, those kind of areas. I was a big punk guy then as well. It probably didn't help, but yeah, I was a little bit bored, and I thought maybe Cena was a little bit stale. Not his, it's nothing to do with him as a performer or anything, but I just thought creative is probably a little bit stale then, and maybe stifled, where he would have been on my list if that didn't happen. But it was what it was, and I won't complain. Like when we, watching John Cena for the last time in Perth last year, like he's one of the best ever. You can't dispute that. But for me, there's four guys that I have above him, and I will not take those four back either.
You have John Cena just missing the cut of the Mount Rushmore. He doesn't. He's not on the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, I think this was an easy one for me. Like I've said, like I've jostled with positions a lot, but I've always had a Rushmore, and he's never been on it.
What? Number five. Okay. Hey, it's your list, Tony Free. It's your list. Number five, John Cena.
Number four, and as I said, Rushmore territory now, and I would like to hope that this guy is on a lot of Mount Rushmores, and that is the showstopper himself, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
I can get with that. I can get with that. I would say, and it's debatable, but he might be a little bit too high. I really love Shawn Michaels.
That's crazy. That is, I think, crazy.
I would, if anything, just off, just quickly, just off the top now, because we're here, I would swap him and John. I think I would swap him and John. But that's I'm nitpicking.
Well, for the nitpicking part, Shawn Michaels has better matches than John Cena did. I don't think you can dispute that. Bret Hart,
can you?
Undertaker, Ric Flair, some of the greatest matches of all time.
John Cena, Punk, AJ Styles last year. Man, the Seth Rollins, the Brock Lesnar matches.
I think different levels.
Kevin Owens.
Different levels. This guy was the ultimate performer. Like showmanship.
They have a really good match together. That Iron Man match on Raw.
They do, but like when I'm thinking about it, the DX era, the rivalry, the heated rivalry with Triple H, the rivalry with Bret Hart, the rivalry with Ric Flair and the retirement, the iconic, I love you before he gives him the sweet chin music, him chasing the Undertaker but just not getting it done. Man, one of the best. Like, I tell you what, I used to love Tune Up the Band on a jumping castle at a birthday party back in the day.
Oh, man. You know what? It really is. It really does come down to what moves could you do when you were a kid.
100%.
That's what I'm realizing as we get through this 25.
Sentimental value plays a big part in this. And,
hey, man.
There you go.
There he is. Your number four wrestler, according to Tony Freed.
Hey.
Now we're getting into top three. And I'll be honest, I'm already thinking, right? There are three names that I can think of. I think for you, Tony Freed, there are two that are definitely going to be in there, and the third one, it could be anyone. So let's hear it. Who gets third place? Who gets the bronze medal?
Well, I think 1 and 2 were shoo-ins for me, but the third one, this is where I kind of tossed up between him and Shawn Michaels. Again, one of the best performers of all time, one of the most entertaining superstars in the history of professional wrestling. He went from being an Olympic gold medalist to somehow being able to do this thing with the most charisma that you've ever seen. He got over being booed and being told that he sucked. And one of the, when I compare this guy to like a Brock Lesnar, And I would say, yes, these two have the same, out and out in-ring ability. Yes, I get it. But the charisma that this guy had and the fact that he could entertain in so many different formats just speaks for itself. And it's number 3, Kurt Angle.
Our loyal fans and followers who watch the YouTube videos will know that I have sat there for the last 40 seconds, maybe a minute of while you were talking, Tony Free, flabbergasted, speechless. Number 3, Kurt Angle.
One of the GOATs. Dead set. Like, let's think about
He's
this.
on the Mount Rushmore and John Cena isn't.
He is on my Mount Rushmore. Like, I think Kurt Angle has more versatility than a John Cena, than a lot more than an Undertaker, that's for sure. A lot more than, I say Chris Jericho has a lot of versatility. Kurt Angle, he was like, he was, I remember like when I was first watching him as a kid, I fucking hated him because I was like, oh, he's such this like whiny little kiss ass, kissing the boss's ass. And then like, I think this is when I very like early in my watching, it was like a light bulb moment when I realized that when you are a bad guy and you're getting it over so well, you're actually a really good performer. And he was probably the first guy that clicked for me.
Hey man, I'm gonna clip this and we're gonna see what the people have to say about Kurt Angle being up that high. So there we go.
Oh,
Kurt
it's true.
Angle somehow has
true.
snuck in.
It's damn true.
Not only did he win the gold at the Olympics, he's also won bronze in Tony's top 25. Now let's get to your number 2 wrestler of all time.
Number 2, and these top 2, these are in everyone's Rushmores, but it's, for me, number 2 is The Rock.
Okay.
I don't have to say too much about this. Everybody's said all they've had to say about The Rock. The numbers speak for themselves. The impact that he's had. Rocky, number 2.
Yep, and I can make a guess as to who was number 1, Tony.
Well, yeah, these two guys were the pinnacle, and it was you either went for one or you went for the other. But it's kind of like having Ronaldo and Messi, like having Nadal, Federer, and that's Djokovic as well, if you want to throw them in. But, having these two in the same time period was crazy. Number 1, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Pop culture, again, he was like the ultimate beer drinking, badass. Like he was probably I could just imagine growing or just living in America in the late 90s, early 2000s, hating your boss, and you just wish you were Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, I think he really, especially when you think about it, the context of like, the Monday Night Wars and everything that's going on there, like Hogan's now in the NWO and WCW, Brett and Shawn, they're doing things, but like Brett's kind of on his way out, and they really needed like someone to carry that and hold the fort in WWF, and especially for Vince. And Stone Cold was the guy. Not only did he hold the fort, he took it to places that the company has never seen, the industry has never seen. And I think also, having him and The Rock going off at the same time, like those two just like on the front line with that is, yeah, man, they really took it to places that they haven't been before, and the company is in a much better spot for them. So
I think it goes to show when Stone Cold, I guess, just to pretty much quote everybody else, when he took his ball and went home, it really showed the impact that he had, because it was a massive void when that happened. I remember, for a few weeks there thinking like, where the hell's Stone Cold? Like, this is why I'm literally tuning in to WWE Raw. And yeah, when he disappeared, it was a massive void to fill.
Hey man. All right. Well, we've gone through. Can you just quickly just recap the 25?
So from 25 to 1?
Yes,
so
please.
Number 25, RVD. 24, the man Becky Lynch. 23, Nature Boy, Ric Flair. 22, the five-time WCW champion, Booker T. 21, Rey Mysterio. 20, Australia's own Rhea Ripley. 19, the phenomenal AJ Styles. 18, Seth freaking Rollins. 17, the Beast, Brock Lesnar. I know, controversial. But 16, Jeff Hardy. 15, OTC, Roman Reigns. 14, Sting. 13, the Hitman Bret Hart. 12, Daniel Bryan. 11, Triple H. 10, CM Punk. Number 9, Randy Orton, the Legend Killer. Number 8, Latino Heat himself, Eddie Guerrero. Number 7, Y2J, the Lionheart. Man, I could name a million different names for Chris Jericho, but he's number 7. Number 6, The Undertaker, and of course the top 5. Number 5 is John Cena and the Rushmore.
Oh, man.
Number 4, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Number 3, the Olympic gold medalist, Mr. Integrity, Mr. Intensity, Mr. Intelligence himself, Kurt Angle. And the top 2, The Rock.
Crazy.
And number 1, Stone Cold, Steve Austin.
I gotta say, hearing it back, Ric Flair at 23, ridiculous. I also think the back-to-back of Brock Lesnar at 17, followed by 16, Jeff Hardy, is insane. There are a couple omissions from the list as well. Like, we've got to get into the recap, but, the names that I'm thinking of, Trish Stratus, not in the 25.
Hey, Flick asked me about this yesterday. She said,
you've got Rhea and you've got Becky.
Yeah, she said that. She's like, is your first crush going to be in your top 25? And I thought about it for a second. And I think Trish, a victim of the time she was in, not getting, I guess, like the time and the spots.
I think she benefits from
today's
the time that she was in.
Oh, I don't know, man. Well, it depends how you look at it. But for me, I just have Rhea and Becky, the stuff that they've done. The fact that Becky's main event at WrestleMania, Rhea Ripley probably has had match of the night at WrestleMania 2 or 3 times now. They have to be in the 25.
The other omission that I'm very surprised by, no Hulk Hogan in the 25. No. Nowhere near the 25. That is quite interesting.
When I drafted the list, he was actually in it, I think, probably like 18 or 19, and then he slid down.
He fell off. Wow.
Well, if I have a Ric Flair at 23, you can kind of see where Hulk Hogan may have been thereabouts that spot.
And you know what number 22 said about that, Booker T. He said, Hulk Hogan, we coming for you, brother. And he kicked him out of the 25. So there it is. Tony's top 25. Please, if you've made it through this list, let us know your thoughts at Graps and Yaps. DM us. We'll make a post of this. Send a message in the comments. I don't know. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this. But now that that's out of the way, let's do a quick recap of everything that's happened this week. And let's start with some outside the ring news that this one actually, Tony, for you brought to my attention last night. I was so blindsided by this, but what have you got?
Hey, as I said at the top of the show, August is the hump day of the year. And if these rumors are true, we have the John Cena Classic coming to Australia in either December or January. So the weekend of the year, this could be huge. I know we're not very big fans of the John Cena Classic, but we want some WWE back on Australian shores. So I'll take what we can get. But yeah, I think either Perth. There was rumors of Melbourne maybe as well. So
Wow.
I'll tell you what, heading to Perth during school holidays, God, you're gonna have to you're gonna have to start saving very early to buy those flights.
Yeah, that'll be a long one. But like during the summertime as well, we can make a whole trip of it, TF. Yeah, it's funny that you say that. Like, yeah, no, we've said some things about the John Cena Classic.
Now we're like, yeah, we love the John Cena
yeah,
Classic.
Yeah, and then they said we might go to Perth. We said, oh, this is the best thing ever.
Yeah,
let's do this. Let's do the tournament. That sounds awesome. Yeah, man. Honestly, like you said this last night in our group chat. I just about jumped out of my seat. I said, you're kidding. Started searching around for it. Now, obviously, they are like rumors at this stage. There's like nothing set in stone. But
Sources,
look, if there are rumblings about, if there are rumblings about them coming back to Australia, I'll be delusional and I'll believe every single word that I hear. So Yeah, we haven't seen anything of the tournament yet. John Cena spoke about it a couple of weeks ago, saying that it's looking at the end of the year. So fingers crossed for us fans here in Australia that that comes to fruition. Speaking of other rumblings about PLEs and events, there was a rumor going around that the WWE is considering turning the Royal Rumble PLE into a 2-night event. Now, my thoughts on this: ridiculous. We've already got WrestleMania as a 2-night affair. SummerSlam has just become a 2-night affair. Royal Rumble, that honestly that might be one of the more logical reasons to turn an event into 2 nights, but I still think it is ridiculous. I hope they don't do this, Tony Free. What do you think?
I actually like it. I wouldn't mind it because at the moment you have usually it's a 4 match card because you've got the two Rumble matches which are going for 45 to 60 minutes plus. So I wouldn't be opposed to it if it means that we can get some more matches on the Royal Rumble PLE because that is the official starting point of the road to WrestleMania. So there is an opportunity there to maybe tell a few more stories and
Yeah,
get some
but
juice
like,
leading into that road to WrestleMania. I wouldn't be opposed. They're not
really?
gonna so they're not gonna do it next year. I think it's for in future years.
Yeah,
Um, yeah.
but like,
Hey,
dude.
if they send a 2 night Royal Rumble to Perth, are you going to complain that it's 2 nights?
Hey man, you're right. You're right. But like, you're saying adding more matches to the Royal Rumble, dude. The only thing that matters at the Royal Rumble is the Royal Rumble match. We don't need to add any more matches to that. The stories can be told in the Royal Rumble. We've seen it before. Like the whole thing. The only thing that people care about when it comes to the Royal Rumble PLE, it's not about a title match. It's not about whatever, like an in between match. It is just the Royal Rumble. Like, obviously, I won't complain if it's in Perth, but like 2 nights of Royal Rumble, I don't know. That seems a little bit overkill to me.
I remember pre women's Royal Rumble matches. I remember we used to get there'd be a match on the Royal Rumble, pay per view where if the winner got into that, they'd actually get into the Rumble later that night. I want to bring those things back. Make it a little bit spicy because what we're getting at the moment, leading into a Rumble, is everybody that's in it. I want surprises. I want to be left guessing morning of the event
They
of
should just do it
who's
like
actually
that.
going to be
Yeah.
in it. They should. They need to go back to being more of a surprise and keeping things a little bit more in the dark. But, yeah, having matches where, if you win, you get through the Rumble later that night, bring those back.
It's almost as if sometimes like the best sell of the Royal Rumble is everything that it's like outside of the WWE. Like who's off contract, who's coming off contract, who have we not seen in some time. Like that's really like the good stuff when it comes to Royal Rumble season. So yeah, look, I'm against the 2 night event, but let's move on to what's happened inside the ring. Let's start with Kevin Owens and CM Punk. Their first promo together since Kevin Owens returning and winning the number one contendership on SmackDown. Starting off SmackDown as well. I was a big fan of it. I really enjoyed like the off mic kind of back and forth that they had, and the camera getting into it as well. My thing, my takeaway from this segment is that these guys are two professionals, two guys that understand how to generate heat. And if this is just step one, we are in for a ride. Tony Free, what do you think of this segment?
Yeah, I loved it. And, these little interactions make people have to dig deeper and research, why don't these two like each other? And you
Yeah.
start to learn, what's happened, as I said, Ring of Honor 2005, when things kind of kicked off between these two. Even up until recently, Kevin Owens was very vocal about not wanting CM Punk to return to the WWE. He's very close friends with the Elite, with the Young Bucks, who CM Punk famously had, legitimate backstage beef with in AEW. So, those things I love, they're not directly referencing them on TV, but it's allowing people, they're giving you enough there to go and research it yourself, and you can find these things out, which I think is really cool. So yeah, I'm loving, the way they're doing this. It does have that feel of, there is real life animosity there. They've probably made up. Let's be honest. They're probably really good buddies now, but I love that it doesn't look that way, and it's going to be interesting. It is weird though that Kevin Owens is elected to have his title match on a SmackDown in, is it September, or I think it's September in
I
Toronto?
think it's in a couple of weeks, August 21st,
Oh,
from
August
memory.
21st. Okay. So
Yeah,
it's what, 2 weeks time, or just over two
yeah.
weeks. Sorry, just under 2 weeks. So yeah, it's weird that it's going to be happening on a SmackDown. So yeah, that has me intrigued.
Yeah, confirmed. Just looked it up now. 21st of August. So yeah, in a couple of weeks' time. Didn't expect it to be so soon, but I'm not mad at it either. I'm like, yeah, going to what you were saying about, I think some of the best angles in wrestling and the best storylines in wrestling is when they like kind of blur the line between real life and TVs, and that's exactly what we're getting. Just off this one interaction with Kevin Owens and CM Punk, we kind of see it with like even when Sammy and Punk were kind of going at it beforehand. There was a little bit of that too, but look, if this is just step one, I'm excited to see where it goes, and I have some other thoughts about this that I'll get to later on. But let's move on to Cody Rhodes, the former champion. He also had an interaction with Randy Orton after Randy returned at SummerSlam and cost him that WWE title match against Punk. And it is important to add that, Punk wasn't happy with how it went either. He said, hey, man, I'm just as pissed as you. I didn't know anything about this. He did say as well, hey, when you get done with that, just say when. So I think that's an interesting part. But my favorite part of this segment between Cody and Randy was Cody basically going, hey, look around. You're the last legend here. So as the legend killer, like, who kills you? And then just ending the promo on that, I'm like, hey. And just the other things too, like, and again, this goes back to like blurring the lines between real life and what's on TV and what happens backstage. Is Cody going, hey, I don't have the belt anymore. I don't have to be the good guy now. That burden is off me. I can do anything. So him just like kind of tapping into this I don't want to say it, but this heelish side, this more aggressive side of Cody. I am excited for Tony. What do you think?
Yeah, loved it. I kind of like, it's crazy to think that, we had this feud pre-WrestleMania and it didn't really hit the heights that we wanted to. And I think, yeah, now, Cody alluding to the fact he doesn't have the title, he can do whatever he wants now. I think now we're really going to get into, the meat of things here. And yeah, I'm really keen for that, sinking our teeth into what should be a really heated rivalry if we consider, the extensive background between the two. And the fact that we know Cody Rhodes, he loves to put his body on the line. He loves to bleed. He loves to light tables on fire and go through them. So maybe we're getting a little bit more of a hardcore edge to Cody, which I think will really suit, Randy Orton and where he's at right now.
I agree. And if if like a street fight between like two guys that were born into this, I think will be awesome.
Two nepo
I will
babies.
say as well, like SmackDown was cooking this week. Two of the best nepo babies in the wrestling industry, going at it. I'm with it. And SmackDown has been on point that last week's episode. So hopefully that can continue this flow. But I want to bring it to Raw. Mr. Solo Sikoa.
Oh,
What do you think of his promo with Jay Uso at the start?
What a start to Monday Night Raw. This is what we need more of. This was, he comes out like singing Jay's song, like that itself. Oh, I was in stitches. Him like ducking the warning shot, and he's like, "You guys are right back there. Anybody got shot?"
That was the best part.
So good.
That was the best part.
Oh, so good. Also,
he is such. Yeah.
I need to say, I think you said this a few weeks ago, and just another example of WWE somehow listening to this podcast and taking our feedback on board. The red suit disappeared. I haven't seen it since you mentioned it.
Thank God.
Since you mentioned it, it has not come back.
Get him out of them hot red pants, all right? Like the green suit, he was looking slick. He was looking real good in that green suit in the crowd on Raw. So shout out to the costume department, the outfit department in WWE for taking our advice. But man, yeah, he's slowly but surely coming into his own and just becoming a real entertaining part of this week to week wrestling. He has a match with Jay. The stipulation is if Solo loses, then he has to front the OTC, which is exactly what happened. Jay defeats Solo in the main event with some help from Big Brother Jimmy. But I believe it's next week. I could be wrong, but it's definitely in the coming weeks.
Yes,
Solo will face Roman Reigns, the OTC, and I guess the play there is to bring him back into the family.
Which he won't.
I will say
he can't. There's no way.
So this is what I want to say, right? Obviously, Roman, he's got this like luchador tournament that we'll talk about after this, but in the bigger scheme of things, I think he's got an LA Knight issue, right? My understanding is that they'll get a title match, maybe at Money in the Bank, it'll be Roman Reigns and LA Knight. My understanding as well is that LA Knight will win the championship, and it's all thanks to Mr. Solo Sikoa. That is where my mind is at right now. I don't know how this interaction is gonna go with Solo and Roman next week, but we did see Solo and LA Knight backstage before the match, and Solo's going, "Hey man, this isn't just a me issue. This is your problem too," which I thought was so why you kind of knew that, but it's quite interesting that they put it in a segment and they put that on TV and they said, "Hey, just in case you guys forgot, this includes this guy." To me, that was are we getting LA Knight championship run at Money in the Bank? I don't know. Do you see it the same way? And what do you see going on with Solo and Roman? You say it's not happening.
Yeah, I don't know. As you know, I've given up on all hope of them strapping the rocket to LA Knight, and it'll be interesting. If Solo does have to go back to the family and ends up, crossing Roman Reigns, that'll be interesting. I'm sure Jay's punk ass will have something to do with it too. I love that when Jacob said that, and Jay's like, "Why does he keep calling me that?"
Especially not your punk ass, Jay, dude. Hey man, people hate the bloodline. Shut up. All right, you get nail swords, you get in action, you get in comedy as well. And of course, you get in the drama too. Now, I did say when we were talking about the Kevin Owens and Punk of it all, I wanted to tie it into what I've just said about my thoughts about the LA Knight, Roman Reigns stuff, right? There is a chance that we could have two transitional champions here. Or not transitional, that's a slack word to use, but there are chances where the title could change. I think there's a play there where you could have Kevin Owens hold the belt for a little bit, but I think, and maybe it's just because it's just happened, I think the chances are high with LA Knight, holding the title for a couple months, a couple weeks, whatever it is, just in this period, this is the Wednesday, the hump day of the year. I think there's a play there. What do you think is a better chance of happening? LA Knight winning the belt or Kevin Owens?
I'd say Kevin Owens has more chance.
Really?
As I said, only because I've just given up hope on them actually doing something of LA Knight. I think Kevin Owens is a lot more closer. And I think the fact that they brought him in immediately into a story with CM Punk tells you the light that they have on him at the moment, and the stature that he has in the rankings there in those creative meetings. So yeah, Kevin Owens, I think maybe he does win the belt from CM Punk on September 21 on SmackDown.
Okay.
I think it's a lot better chance than LA Knight winning the belt.
Okay. Let's talk about this luchador tournament. We saw the first match, Penta defeating Laredo Kid. We've also got in the following weeks Psycho Clown versus La Parka, Dragon Lee versus El Hijo Dr. Wagner Jr. Hopefully I got that right. And then Ray Phoenix against El Fiscal. Now, are your thoughts the same as mine, that when I saw the tournament, I said, well, it's just going to be Penta and Ray Phoenix in the final?
Yeah, and I feel like we should just honestly just skip the rest, just have them have a match, and then get to Penta versus Roman.
I'm excited for that to happen.
I'm sorry, but I feel like these other matches maybe should have been done on AAA. We didn't need them on Raw. I know, they're good wrestling matches.
Cool. It'll be fine.
They're fun wrestling matches, but
it's only one match a week, right? It'll be one match a week. Well, I mean, I guess I don't know the time frame, but we can get a bit of AAA going in there. I don't know. I don't mind it, but yeah, it does seem like we know how this is going to end, and it's going to end with Mr. Zero Miedo winning it. Anything else from the week that you want to hit on, Tony Free?
I think Bron and Oba is always a good starting point, and I've
Oh,
loved how they've weaved Paul Heyman into this, and yeah, Bron just absolutely obsessed with Obafemi right now, and he's selling it
they're
so
in a good
well.
spot now. Yeah, they're in a really
See
good
now,
spot. I will
now
say,
I'm interested in Bron. Like they've really
hey,
been dropping the ball with him, but now they're making the most of them dropping the ball.
yeah, man, you just got to trust the process, right? You just got to see what happens in the weeks coming. And I will also say it's a good example of just one example of why Unreal isn't as real as you may think. Now, obviously, it's presented as a behind the scenes look, which it is, but I also think it's a tool to get people thinking a type of way.
That's
Obviously,
what
the
I said
season
this.
three,
I said this like before this season came out. This is what my beef was with Unreal, was that it actually is not what you think it is.
but it is though. It's
It is
both,
to an
but they
extent, but
it is.
they've found a new kayfabe with this.
Yes, yeah, 100%. That's what they're doing. You know, this last season we saw Bron and his troubles with injury, and like how he was positioned to be, the next guy to carry the torch. And what have we seen on TV? Oba has just absolutely leapfrogged him, and that's the story that we're saying. Bron is looking at him going, "That should have been me." I'm a fan of this. Yeah, the Heyman stuff as well, and also just the dynamic with Bron and the rest of the Vision. Like seeing them do promos and Bron is just so in a different other world. Like, again, trust the process, guys. Let's see where this goes. I think it's going to be an interesting story to tell. What are your thoughts on Baron Corbin owning a motorbike now?
I I think I missed it. I think I was.
Oh,
I
classic
think
Tony Free.
not that I skipped SmackDown, but I think I just.
Dude,
I think I just did something else as soon as I heard Corbin's music hit.
not only does Baron Corbin have a furry white United States Championship, he also comes out on a motorbike. If you
Oh, that
missed
makes
it,
me.
so
Oh, that's going to add so much interest in him for me. Wow.
does he crack the 25 then?
Respectfully, no.
Oh,
This
right.
guy ain't
Well,
cracking this guy ain't cracking 250 at the moment.
that is crazy. I won't take that kind of Baron Corbin slander. Again, that's
Respectfully.
another thing. You gotta trust the process a little bit. He defeats Trick Williams. Carmelo Hayes attacks him backstage. It looks like Carmelo Hayes is still in the picture. I don't really have much else to say about that. Nothing really has changed with that. Let's talk about the WWE Women's title picture, however.
Oh
Okay?
man,
Let's talk about this
far out.
because we know that Rhea Ripley is she's out. She just hit surgery. She's recovering. So we got an interim champion in Chelsea Green, and bad news for you, people like you, Tony Free, the Chelsea Green fans, hit with an injury, orbital injury, right?
I fucking hate Fatal Influence. Just injured my
Hey,
girl,
hey
Laney
man,
Reed.
that's the
Looking at you
business.
specifically, breaking
That's
our
the
girl's
business, bro.
face. That
But
orbital
that has to
bone.
be that is crazy that not only are others the actual champion, but the interim
Hey,
champion
can we?
also injured.
This I didn't. So obviously we didn't find out till a few days later that Chelsea had suffered an injury here. But the fact that they booked her to get pinned as the women's champion in a tag match against a tag team
Interim.
who've permanent against a tag team who have just come up to SmackDown, they pin the women's champion. The fact that that alone happened was a disgrace. And yeah, things like this are going to happen where she gets injured because she's taking spots which she didn't need to. Liv Morgan had 2 matches in 100 days, not defending her belt, but she had 2 matches after she won the belt at WrestleMania. Put some
That's true.
cotton wool around your women's champion.
Hey, a cry for help from Tony Free here on Graphs and Yaps.
She better
Um,
not be sidelined. She just rock the mask, please, Chelsea.
yes.
Stay on TV.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have the interim champion drop the interim belt, right? Like, there's no
We're gonna
way
have
that
it.
that's.
Otherwise, we're gonna have a ladder match for an
Yeah.
interim women's champion.
Yeah, hey, listen, man. We know Chelsea Green is a soldier, so she will. I'm sure that she won't take no for an answer unless it's like explicitly like, no, you have to stop. I don't think she's taking a break. Also, we saw the debut of Tatum Paxley helping out Charlotte and Alexa Bliss at the end there. Not too familiar with Tatum Paxley's work. Obviously, I know I'm familiar with the name and coming from NXT, but not too familiar with her work inside the ring or her character really. But I mean, yeah,
I think
I seen that and I was like, oh, cool.
I'm a little bit familiar with her game, and I
Okay.
do think I think she's super cool and interesting. So I'm excited for what she does in main roster. I didn't really see her going in with Charlotte and Alexa. That was an
Mm,
interesting little move there. But
yeah.
you know what? I did see a thing on the internet this week, and it was Drizzy Drake. I think he chose a goth cosplayer as his wife, is what I think happened. Anyway,
Yep.
earlier in the year, Drake said that Rhea Ripley was his muse. He's now, chosen a goth girl over 19 other women as his wife. Is Tatum Paxley the next Drizzy Drake muse? I'm sure he might be at the show at Toronto. He at
Oh,
SmackDown in a
wow.
few weeks. If Drizzy Drake is there, Tatum Paxley might be next on the hit list for Mister Six.
Now that is quite interesting. Does Are we going to get more? Are we inching closer to Drake accompanying Kevin Owens to the ring in Toronto against CM Punk? Is that where the road is leading us to, Tony Free?
Only if Kevin Owens is hitting him with a chair, and turning on him.
Yeah. Hey, man. They not like us. Last thing I want to get into before we get on out of here. It happened yesterday on NXT. A lot
Yes,
of
the
chat about this
bloodline.
in months, years, whatever it's been, however long it's been. But we finally saw it. Zilla Fatu made his NXT debut. I guess you could say it's his WWE debut too, like technically, interrupting the number one contenders match between Cruz Santana and Grayson Waller. Great pop from the crowd. Great moment. I thought, it was such a surprise. I didn't expect it. I remember having that match on in the background, doing whatever, and then just hearing like the pop, running over to the TV to see who it was. I said, ain't no way it's this guy. So Zilla Fatu finally makes his way into the company, which means, Tony Free, you said it, the Bloodline storyline extends another 5 years.
Yeah, we're now into the fourth innings of
We are back to the
this
second inning.
of the second game of the season. We've got a long way to go.
What are your
Yeah, super
thoughts?
exciting.
What do you think of this?
Very. I thought it was great. I didn't watch the match live, so I only, I saw this on social media and I was like, oh wow, they actually, did it. Interesting spot. I think it's good though because Grayson's obviously been able to shine a light on NXT right now, especially
Yes.
with Cruz Santana coming in, and they've just found a way now to make it even more interesting with Zilla coming in. So I don't know if I'm like a little bit surprised that he's been brought into NXT first when we all know that his whole family is on the main roster at the moment. So, yeah, I thought maybe they could have just brought him into the main roster with the way the bloodline's been
Really?
happening at the moment. I know, like he's still young and he's still fresh, and
Yeah.
probably has to learn the TV way of doing things. But yeah, it's going to be interesting now to see what Zilla does, how long he's in NXT, and then I guess the inevitable is how they weave him in to the main roster side of
Yeah.
things in the bloodline story.
Look, I think he's going to be in safe hands down at Full Sail. Are they still at Full Sail? Have I made that up?
Down
That
at
is Full Sail, right?
the
Where NXT
PC?
is taped? Oh, is
Yeah,
that
down
the
in
PC?
Florida. Yep.
Oh, my bad. Look, point is, he'll be in safe hands down there with the crowd and also with Shawn Michaels. So yeah, excited to see how that goes. But look, let's get out of here. If you made it this far, we appreciate you. Make sure you're following us at Graps and Yaps on social media, also on the YouTube as well. Share it with a mate, tell a friend to tell a friend, and also tell that friend to let them know their thoughts on Tony Free's top 25 wrestlers of all time. I'm excited to see how the people react to that. Tony Free,
Yeah, I want
anything
to.
exciting?
I just want to hear some hot takes. I'm sure like there's going to be a lot of debate around some of the 25 and how I could have had this person higher than this person. So send it in, and we'll go through it next week on the show. But yeah, it's good to have a conversation about where we rank certain wrestlers. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of opinions out there. But I'm glad to hear that
Yeah.
people agreed with me with Brock not being in the top 10. I was very, very satisfied with that.
I will say
Unanimously
that
as
I
well.
did say he was easily top 10. I can hear an argument for top 15, but I won't go any further than that. So yes, now that the dust has settled a little bit,
I'm a man of the people.
I think he might be a 15. He might be a 15, but I think he's still in my 10. But anyways, that's in the dust now. That's in the books. Tony Free, thank you for joining us this week. And look, we'll see you again next week.
See you then. Yeet.